director. Another cresting wave of emotion carried her from the room. The last of Gramps sat at Daniel's feet, his last words in his hands. He took another lukewarm sip as he studied the envelope and the two printed words across the front in a stilted hand. For Daniel. He drained the styrofoam cup, ran a finger under the sealed flap, and drew out a single page filled with Gramps' upright handwriting. He ran a hand through his thick black curls, and then adjusted his glasses as the sadness, clamped down for the funeral, wriggled free. For the last time, Gramps spoke to him. My boy, you often told me very little surprises you, so I thought I would speak to you from beyond the grave. I'm sure that might. Daniel chuckled as the gravel in Gramps' voice echoed in his head and shook loose a tear. I'm so proud of the man you've become, with the success of your counseling practice and, of course, that book. Daniel smiled through a bitten lip and filmed eyes. I know you've got great insights into other people, but I worry for your family, Daniel. When I've raised this before, you've always shifted the conversation. Forgive an old man for advising the counselor, but I can see where your hearts are and where you're headed. Based on your current trajectory, I'm not sure you'll last. Daniel winced as he sucked in a breath. He looked across to his distant daughter, thumbs hammering at her phone, within reach, yet so far away. I can help. I'm leaving you this gift I wish I had in my younger days, when choices in front of me were easier and would have saved so much pain. The briefcase sat at his feet. Its leather shone in patches, and cracks in the lid revealed a paisley pattern beneath. Silver corners were burnished and tarnished, and combination tumblers with faded numbers sat on either side of the clasps. My gift to you is in my old briefcase. I'm sure you'll be able to unlock it. The combination represents the most special day in my life. The first tear fell onto the quivering page as Daniel read the final words Gramps would ever say to him. I never allowed you to touch it, but you need it now. I have left it for you and not your mother, because I know you need its truth. Please use it wisely. It has freed me from so much and taught me there's always more to life than what we see. I love you, Gramps. The gravel died away, and Gramps became silent in Daniel's life. More tears came, a normal grief reaction, as he reached for the briefcase. The most special day in my life. Daniel chuckled to himself. He'd heard that phrase every year just before he blew out the candles. On the first lock, 011. On the other, 783. His birthday. The locks snapped open with a thunk. A puff of nostalgia and Old Spice drifted out as Daniel lifted the lid to find the one thing in Gramps' life he was never allowed to share. His old Olympus camera. Heavy, black and silver, from a time when the camera pointed away from the photographers and not back at them while they made a face like a duck. Daniel lifted it out with reverence. It was a sacred relic. He ran his thumb across the thick knobs and stiff levers, surrounded by tiny etched numbers. A rising sense of the forbidden grabbed him as his finger rested on the trigger where Gramps' weathered and lined index finger had once sat. Daniel squinted through the viewfinder, and the tiny room came alive. The fading plastic chair sparkled like new. The fluorescent lighting was somehow more yellow, more natural. Millie hunched even further over her phone. He brushed a roughness on the bottom of the camera and flipped it over to find an inscription in an elegant cursive script. No matter what you think you might see, the camera never lies. Gramps could be melodramatic when he wanted to be. Film was already in the camera. That was good. He had no idea where he'd buy any. Something else was in the briefcase, a flash of red. Daniel pulled out a small book with a fading red cover and a word stenciled on the front in worn gold. Photos. He felt another rising sense of the forbidden. He had seen few of Gramps' photos, and never this album. The book creaked open with a stiff groan. On each page was a single photograph held in place with tiny black triangles. Daniel recognized two of Gramps' friends from the funeral. The color in the photos was washed out, as if someone